Latest on Tropical Storm Gordon, which still has winds of 50 miles an hour and a pressure around 1005 millibars. 26.4 north, 82.2 degrees west. There it is, moving off towards the northwest. And hurricane warnings have been raised for parts of the Gulf Coast. Here it is right now. You can see it there, a tropical storm. Its current position there as well, a stage 2 on the CDPS. We don't actually have that graphic prepared, but it is a stage 2 at this time. Moderate damage is quite possible, and mainly surge as well. That could also be an issue as it heads towards the Gulf Coast. Right now, 19 miles from Cape Coral, 68 from Sarasota, and 107 from Tampa. 541 miles gets it to New Orleans. These are the warnings as they stand. A hurricane warning for the mouth of the Pearl River to the Alabama-Florida border, and a tropical storm warning for places east and west of there. A storm surge warning as well for Shell Beach to Dauphin Island, and a storm surge watch for the wider area to the mouth of the Mississippi River as well. This is what we expect over the next few days, the storm moving off towards the northwest, coming ashore. We expect at the minute it's going to be in Mississippi, but because of the proximity of the other states nearby, we can't say for certain yet that it's going to make landfall in that state. It could be one of the adjacent ones. This is the GFS outlook, which has been consistently underestimating Gordon, so I'm not sure how useful this is actually going to be on our presentation. Some models are suggesting that Gordon will be much stronger by the time it makes landfall, one or two siding with the GFS saying it will remain weak, but so far it has already defied the computer models. 28 or 29 degrees are the water temperatures, and could be a tad warmer in some areas as well. Here's another look at that forecast again. Not sure how useful this will be as we get into Tuesday. It's going to be Tuesday evening or possibly a little bit earlier when we're looking at the potential landfall, at whatever intensity that may be. But at the minute, the National Hurricane Center think it will be a hurricane, and it goes against what a lot of the models are saying, but a lot of the models appear to be wrong at the minute. Nothing else on the horizon after that though, just in case you were wondering. Here are the chances of tropical storm force winds. 79% at Naples, probably receiving tropical storm force winds now anyway. 48% at Pensacola, 61% in Mobile, that's the highest on the Gulf Coast further north. 41% in New Orleans right now as well. Those percentage chances are probably going to rise if the storm follows the National Hurricane Center's forecast. This is what the areas are saying at the minute. This is the Florida Keys National Weather Service office. Tropical storm warning remains in effect for the upper Keys, they're saying. A flood advisory out in the Miami-Dade County area. There could be some flooding there. There's already been over 3 inches of rain in some parts of Miami-Dade County, and that's going to increase throughout the rest of today as well. You can see there all of those tropical storm warnings, although they have been lifted on the east coast now, so it's just a small area on the west. That's obviously a little bit out of date. This is Tallahassee, looking at those rain amounts up to 1.5 inches maybe along the coastline. It may end up being higher than that, you know, and a high surf risk there too. This is looking at an elevated risk of flooding in the Mobile area, extending quite a way inland now as well. Some flood watches out there. And finally we'll be looking at New Orleans, the storm surge warnings there, and you can see on the graphic there all those tropical storm warnings in the reddish zone extending quite a few counties inland, and the flood watch, flash flood watch, extending even further inland. This is what the latest models are saying. Generally it's really coming together now in terms of those models, pretty much a consensus apart from the GFS not knowing what it's doing as towards hurricane strength. Borderline hurricane by the looks of things is probably the best bet, so it's no surprise really that the National Hurricane Center have gone with a 75 mile an hour peak, which is what they're expecting in the later hours of tomorrow. You can see there the sea surface temperature is going to be remaining warm. This is how it's been looking recently on the satellite imagery as it's been moving towards the northwest, grazing the southwestern coast of Florida, passed within 9 miles of Marco Island and just about 11 miles, I believe, from Naples, and now it's not too far away from Cape Coral. So there's another look at the infrared imagery as the storm moves past. And it's going to be quite a long 24 to 48 hours as we watch what Gordon is going to do. You can follow Force 13's outlets, the website force13.com, with you at any time. You can also find our YouTube page if you're not there already, subscribed hopefully, and you can also follow our Facebook page, search Force 13 all in text. Videos are now there as well, and you can follow us on Twitter at Force 13 is our handle, and it's hashtag F13Sulik if you'd like to draw our attention to anything in future live events or whatnot. You can also help the project become even better by becoming a patron with its various rewards that come with that feature as well. And you can add me personally, Fool13 at extension 9094 on Discord, and Force13 on Skype for tropical weather chat.